What's going on YouTube? It's Pico.Blurred back again with another video. Today I'm going to be showing you guys how to do the NC State board razor practical. Let me get into what you guys need to set up to be able to do the service. We'll go through the steps of the service and then how to finish off the service. So before we do anything with our client, we need to sanitize our workstation and sanitize our chair. I already did that, but here's all the stuff we're gonna need. I have my towels covering anything that I'm going to be touching with my hands, just so we prevent cross-contamination. My Barbershop top is covered. My disinfectant is covered. Alcohol, talcum powder, even the sink handle is covered. So those are the towels that we're gonna need. I have a towel to hold my razor in a disinfected area. We need 2 towels, one for the chest pad, one for the lather pad. We have a whoopee pad for the head of the seat to cover. I have my disinfectant towel. I have my towel for when I'm hand washing. Obviously, you're going to need your razor. So I have that in a sanitized drawer. And I have my dry drape. So that's all the stuff that you're gonna need for this practical. And then I'll jump into the steps to be able to perform this practical. So like I said, the first thing is to gather all your material, disinfect your workstation and your chair. And then I'm gonna wash my hands before I even go meet and greet my client. So let me go ahead and go wash my hands, and I'll be back with you when I go and meet and greet my client. Also guys, I forgot to mention, you will need 2 towels for your steam towels. Your first one is gonna be your hot steam towel. Your second one is going to be your tepid towel. I'm only using 1 steam towel just so we don't waste material. So that's why I only have 1 steam towel I'm gonna use for both of those. And the amount of steam towels you use is dependent on the texture of your client's beard. So you might need to use more than 2 steam towels. For this demo, I'm just gonna be using 2 steam towels. My first hot steam towel and my second tepid steam towel, but you may need to use more. So just be wary of that. Grab extra towels if you need to when you're actually doing this service, just so you're prepared. But for now, I'm only using 2 rolled steam towels. All right, y'all, so I just washed my hands. Now I'm ready to go get my client and bring him back to the seat and start to perform the 24-step NC State board razor shape practical. So let's go ahead and go get my client. John, nice to meet you. I'm doing great. My name's David. I'm going to be servicing you today. You can go ahead and follow me to the chair. Lead them to the chair. Make sure you stand behind the chair so that they don't roll back and move to the chair. Is that comfortable for you, sir? Yes, sir. All right. So now that I have my client seated in the chair, I like to raise my client up before I drape and do my draping setup. Technically, per board list of actions to do, you would drape your client first before you lift them up. To me, it's more comfortable if I lift up my client and recline them before I drape. It's just more comfortable for me, so I make sure that the drape does not touch the skin, which you don't want the drape touching the skin because that is cross-contamination again, and we do not want to cross-contaminate. So right now, I'm going to add my whoopee pad to the headrest, and that's just creating a barrier for your client from the chair, because again, you do not want your client to erect skin on any form of place that can cause cross-contamination. So I put my whoopee pad up. Now I'm gonna unlock my chair. I'm gonna tell my client I'm gonna raise him. I'm gonna raise you now, sir. You're raising your client to optimum height, whatever is most comfortable for you at that level. For me, I'm a short person, so I don't raise them all the way up to the chair's capacity. I raise it to about chest level where I'm comfortable. So I raise them up. And now I'm gonna ask my client to recline. I make sure that he's ready. I don't want to just recline him and catch him by surprise. So, Raheem, I'm going to go ahead and recline you now. Is that comfortable for you? Headrest comfortable for you? All right. So now after I raise and recline, I'm going to lock my chair, make sure that he's good, and I'm going to start my draping setup. So I'm going to grab my dry drape. And I'm just gonna lay it over him up to his shoulders. Again, I don't want this drape touching his skin at all. We're not touching the neck with this at all. So I drape my client, and after I put on my dry drape, I'm gonna go wash my hands because again, I'm touching a drape that has probably touched multiple clients, and I don't want to start my linen setup with contaminated hands. So I'm gonna go ahead and wash my hands again. Once my hands are clean, I'm gonna start my linen setup. The linen setup consists of 2 towels. It's gonna be your chest pad. So I'm gonna grab one of these. I'm gonna place it across his chest with each corner tucked in to my client's collar. So like so. And now I take this bottom corner and I'm bringing it up to my client's collar and just tucking that in. So, and that's my chest towel setup. I'm gonna fold that and grab my lather pad now. I unfold it longwise. I drape over the shoulder and I cover it with the chest towel. So that is your linen setup. Now it's time to prepare my client's skin for the actual razor shave itself. So I'm not gonna use it in this, but I will be lathering my client at this point. So I'll go ahead and grab my hot lather, bring it over to my client's skin. And as I'm applying that lather, I'm going upwards in a circular motion. So that way I maintain his tightness of his skin. If you go down the other way, you're gonna make the skin really loose, especially if you have older clients, you're gonna drag the skin down. You want that skin to be pretty tight, so that's why we're going in a circular upwards motion, applying that lather. And when you're applying this lather for the state board, the mustache area is optional. If you do not lather the mustache area, you do not have to shave the area. For this demo purpose, I'm gonna go ahead and lather his mustache area so that way I can show you all of the 14 strokes for this procedure. So once I have added lather to my client, now it's time for your first steam towel. So I'm gonna grab my steam towel with the seams facing downwards because you want the steam to exit the towel downwards towards your client's skin. So I'm bringing my towel over and I'm wrapping around my client. You never want to go over your client's head because this towel is really hot and it could be dripping water and you don't want to drop water over your client's skin. So I'm bringing it around. I have the seams face downwards and I'm just going to grab both seams and unwrap it. Now before you put this on your client's skin, you want to test on the inside of your wrist to make sure that it's not too hot for your client. And so now I'm ready to apply this first steam towel to my client's face. You can always ask your client, hey, is this too hot for you or is this good for you?
It's good.
Perfect, all right. Now that the temperature is nice, you're gonna lay it over under his nose and you're just gonna wrap the towel up above his forehead, holding the towel at his lip just so it's a nice wrap. Let's do that again, it kind of got caught. So again, I'm right on his lip, under his nose. I bring that upwards and I'm pinching right at the corner of his nose as I wrap this up. It's gonna hold the towel in place, like so. And now your first steam towel is applied. While this steam towel is applied, this is when I'm going to disinfect my razor to set up my razor for the 14-step shave. So I take my razor from the sanitized area, and when we're disinfecting this razor, we're gonna do a rinse, dip, rinse. I we're rinsing it with water, dipping it in Barberside, and then rinsing it with water. So I'm gonna bring it over to the sink. I'm rinsing it with water. I go ahead and dip in Barberside, and then I rinse with water again. Now the reason that we're rinsing off the Barberside is because we don't want the Barberside getting on the client's skin. Barberside is a pretty strong disinfectant, and you don't want direct contact on the skin. It can cause irritations or various other side effects. So make sure that you're rinsing off the Barberside before you apply to your client's skin. So once it's disinfected, I'm going to place in a sanitized area, preparing for my 14-step shape, like so. And so after the razor is disinfected, it's time to remove my hot steam towel. And so I'm gonna roll it down my client's face and wipe away any excess lather that is left on the face. Obviously we didn't use lather in this demo, but if you were to have lather around your client's face, you would just want to wipe that off as you're rolling down, like so. Take away, and that is your first steam towel removed. Again, I'm using just one towel for both of these steam towels, so again, I'm just wrapping this up and using it again. So now that the steam towel is removed, it's time to re-lather and begin our 14-point shave process. So again, I'm gonna go grab a lather. I'm lathering in a circular upwards motion. Like so. And now I'm ready to do my 14-step shave. So I'm gonna ask my client, because it's comfortable for me, I'm gonna tell him to tilt his head to the side so I can begin my number 1. And so now I have my razor in my hand. I open it like so. Number 1 is gonna be freehand, and that's going from the sideburn down to the jawline. So again, freehand is this motion going down. So I'm right here in my number 1. Freehand from the sideburn to the jawline, and that is your stroke number 1. Stroke number 2 is gonna be backhand, and that's gonna be from the jawline to the corner of the mouth. And backhand is gonna be going away from you. And make sure when you're doing these strokes that you're really stretching the skin, because you want the blade to be able to glide across the skin and not get caught up. Really stretch that skin so you have an easier time gliding that razor across your client's face. So that was stroke number 2. Stroke number 3 is gonna be freehand again, and you're going on the right side of the mustache, like so. And I like to stretch my client's nose just so I have more area to work with while I'm doing this stroke. So again, I'm stretching the nose, and I'm just going down freehand over the right side of his mustache. And as you're doing these strokes, it's important that you bring your razor over to your lather pad and really wipe it off, because you want to get all of that debris and lather off of your razor so you have a clean kind of razor to work with in doing these steps. So now number 4 is going to be from the jawline down to the grain change, and that's going to be freehand as well. Like so. And now we're going to be moving around him to do our freehand number 5 stroke. When you're moving around your client, really make sure that you're palming your razor. You don't want to move around your client with an exposed razor. So you want to close this, palm it, so that way it's safe to move around your client. So, and number 5 is going to be reverse freehand, and that's from the bottom of the neck up to the grain change. So I'm stretching that skin, and I'm just going upwards towards that grain change. Again, when I'm moving, I close my razor, and I go to wipe it off. And now I'm going to turn my client's head towards me to do my number 6 through 14. Now this step is important. If you do need to re-lather, go ahead and grab more lather and re-lather those areas. I'm not gonna do it right now because I'm not actually using lather, so just pretend for me that this area is already lathered. So now I'm gonna do my number 6, and that's gonna be the left side of the mustache. That's a backhand stroke. Again, I'm stretching that nose up so I have more area to work with and the skin is tighter on the mustache. Just backhand right there on the left side of the mustache. Number 7 is gonna be a backhand as well, and that's gonna be from the sideburn down to the jawline. So I'm coming behind my client, opening that razor once I'm behind, and I'm pulling the skin, going backhand down towards that jawline. Number 8 is gonna be a free hand, and that's gonna be from the jawline to the corner of the mouth. So again, open free hand, stretching that skin away, and pulling that blade to the corner of his mouth. And the reason I say stretch away from the stroke that you're doing is so that you don't end up cutting your own finger. For example, if I was doing number 8 and I stretch the skin this way and bring my razor this way, I have a chance of cutting my finger pulling towards me. So that's why I say stretch away from the opposite direction that you are doing your strokes. All right? So now number 9 is gonna be backhand, and that's from the jawline down to the grain change. So I'm behind my client, I'm going backhand, I'm stretching the skin up, and I'm going towards that grain change. Number 10 is gonna be the bottom of the neck to the grain change, and that's a reverse free hand. And now for number 11, I'm gonna reposition my client facing upwards. Number 11 is gonna be the chin area, and that's gonna be a free hand stroke. Like so. And now for number 12. Number 12 is gonna be beneath the chin, and that is gonna be either a free hand or a backhand stroke. My preference for doing this is the backhand stroke. It's just what's more comfortable for me. So I'm gonna do a backhand stroke for number 12. Again, that is underneath the chin. Like so. Number 13 is gonna be from the bottom of the Adam's apple up to the grain change. And when you're doing number 13, really make sure to stretch to either side of the Adam's apple, because you don't want to put the razor directly on the Adam's apple. You can risk cutting the Adam's apple. So when I'm doing this stroke, I'm really stretching to the left side when I'm on the left side. So it is a reverse free hand. I'm stretching down and over. That way I'm not exactly on his Adam's apple. And now to do the other side of the Adam's apple, I'm stretching to the right and down, hitting those areas. And now for the last stroke is your number 14. That's gonna be reverse free hand just under the lip. So again, I'm coming behind my client and I'm stretching his chin down so I can really hit under that lip, like so. We're scooping out. And so now that the 14 strokes are finished, what we wanna do is rehydrate the client's skin with either water or more lather to get ready for our once over shave. Now the once over shave is just knocking off any hairs that you missed during the 14-step shave, and that could be any hand placement that you want to, whether it be freehand, reverse freehand, or backhand. So again, I'm gonna re-lather some areas that I missed. Let's say I missed this number 1 area. I re-lather, and I'm just gonna hit that with a freehand stroke, knocking off any hair that I missed, right? And so once your once over shave is complete, now it's time to add your second steam towel, which is gonna be your tepid towel. The tepid towel isn't gonna be as hot as the first steam towel because we want to start closing the pores. So again, I grab my slightly warm, tepid steam towel, bring it over my client, test on the wrist just to make sure that it's not too hot, and I'm gonna place on my client's chin. John, you can look up for me. Place on my client's chin, right under his nose, and applying like so. And I even add a little bit of a massage to it when I'm doing this step, just to make sure that he's nice and relaxed. All right. And now that your second steam towel, your tepid towel is in place, it's time to start doing our closing work. So while he's under there, I want to make sure that I do all my cleaning steps so that he doesn't see that process. So now I'm going to get my razor and dispose of my blade in a sharps container. Once that blade is disposed of in a sharps container, I'm going to disinfect my razor again using the rinse, dip, rinse process. So I'm rinsing at the sink, dip in the barber side, and rinse off again. And this time, since we're not going to be using the razor again, we can place in a sanitized drawer. We're not going to be using it anymore, so we're done with that. While my client's still under the tepid towel, I'm going to remove the lather pad because this is going to be covered in hair and covered in lather, and you don't really want your client seeing all that. So I remove my lather pad and I dispose in a hamper. And now it's time to remove your second steam towel. Again, rolling it down on the client's skin and pulling away from your client. And then we dispose of this inside a hamper. And so now it's time to add astringent to your client's skin again to start to close the pores and to disinfect the area that you applied the razor, because it's going to be irritated and you want to start to not sanitize the area but make sure that it's clean so they don't get razor bumps or any type of infection. So I take my next strip, I try to take my neck strip and I'm just gonna wrap around my fingers any part that I'm touching the client's skin with. So like so, just wrap around the fingers, and now I'm gonna apply my alcohol, right? And as I'm applying my alcohol, I'm doing it in a dabbing motion as to not cause more irritation to my client's skin. So I'm just dabbing around the areas that I shaved with my razor. Like so. And I dispose of this in the trash can. And now it's time to apply a talcum powder. And the way to do that is we remove our chest pad, like so. And we want to create a hand mitt. And so I take it in between my two fingers and I wrap it around my hand. And you really want to make sure that none of your palm is exposed. You don't want any contact from your palm onto your client's skin. So my whole palm is covered like so. And I'm going to apply talcum powder to this hand mitt. Shake off in the sink if you have too much on the hand mitt itself. You can shake off in the sink if you have too much. So now I'm going to apply the talcum mitt to my client's face. And the way we do that is we do it in a rolling motion. So I'm rolling it down my client's face. And the reason that we're using talcum powder is to dry up any excess astringent that you used on your client's skin. You want to dry up his skin afterwards, so that's why we're using a talcum mitt, like so. And now it's time to release our client. So I'm gonna raise my client now. Jaheem, I'm gonna lift you up now, is that okay? So I lift my client up. Now I'm gonna lower my client. Remove my dry draping setup. And release my client. Jaheem, I hope that was a good service for you. Please come and see us again. And so now that my client is, I walked my client out the door and had him exit, now it's time to do our cleanup work. So now we're gonna disinfect our work area. We're gonna remove any towels that we used and put them in a closed hamper. Disinfect our workstation. We're gonna raise our chair and recline it. Lock the chair, and we're gonna disinfect our chair. And the last step to this process is to wash our hands. So now I'm gonna go wash my hands. Like so. And that is your 24-step NC State Board Razor Practical. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you have any questions, drop in the comments. I'd love to answer them. Hit that subscribe button if you're new here. I'd like to drop new content for you guys and just allow you guys to learn barbering how I learned barbering, and hopefully you share that passion with me. But it's your boy Pico.Blurred. I'll catch you guys on the next video.
Oh my god, is that Pico.Blurred?